good time, dear students. I hope you are doing well, and I wish you good health and prosperity and safety from this current going on pandemic. We have talked of Eliot a bit, and it's not easy to comprehend Eliot in his entirety because he has seen so much, and these online lectures, or I don't think they'll be enough to encompass everything about T.S. Eliot. But the three things you know about him is that he was at least three persons, three different persons. I mean, say that he's a poet. He was a wonderful poet, and he won Nobel Prize for literature. And the second thing was that he was a literary critic and a theorist a bit. And the third thing was that he was a dramatist itself. He wrote five, six dramas itself. We cannot discuss all the things in just one session, so I've divided them into three. And in this session, I'll only be talking about Eliot is a poet. And here another problem comes that so it is really difficult to encompass and to bring into discourse all the poetic works that he has produced. Rather, I selected only a few, and I am talking about those few poems that he has contributed to English literature. So earlier we talked of this thing that Eliot had three periods, according to another critic, that his poetry career can be divided into three periods. But according to another source which I consulted on T.S. Eliot as a poet, so his poetic career is divisible into five periods, and I have organized this presentation on the basis of that. We begin with the first period, that is period one, poems. I consulted so many sources on it, but I couldn't find any adequate information about this thing. And generally, it is said that comprised of undeveloped poems, being the fragments that he wrote in his school life, college life, early college life, but he didn't turn them into mature poetry, and they were not of that caliber. You might call them puerile kind of poems, which were not matured. And although they were published in Smith Academy records, they are concerned with schoolboy experiences and poetic exercises of that age. Little attention has been paid to forms of Eliot's first period of poetic career, so we don't find enough information about it, and it is most probably from 1900 or even from 1885 to 1907. I think this is that period in which he was not producing remarkable work. Then the second period of poetry is a bit important. It starts in 1908 and it lasts till 1917. And his remarkable poem, Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, is written in this time. It is edited. First, it was written in 1910, but it was edited later on, and a number of times it was edited, but finally, the final drop that we have today is in 1911. And there are certain suggestions from people who say that he has excluded 40 or 38 lines from the original drop that he had written in 1911, and so the poem is not entirely that one which was written in the first drop. Other things have been omitted from it. This is a wonderful poem, and because it is included in the content, so we'll be dealing with it line by line and discussing themes and symbols and everything. But here, just these few words about the poem, that Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock. And this is an examination of the tortured psyche of a prototype model and prototype modern man psyche is disturbed. Although this modern man is overeducated, this is a mockery, something because there is a kind of shallowness and the knowledge, the information that modern man is having, it is superficial. There is little depth in things, and most of the time they are just surface level things that are being discussed. Eloquent when it comes to speaking, so modern man is a really good speaker, and it seems as if he is equipped with all kinds of knowledge and understanding, but he is not that in real sense. Neurotic, that's some um, psychological issues, or with them emotionally unstable. That is, Prufrock himself is emotionally unstable. You will come to know. We'll be reading this. We'll be reading this form and line by line. Then the second form of the second period is the portrait of a lady. It was also written in 1911, and it is a poem which is a kind of contrast to uh, the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. You must keep this thing in mind that Prufrock is a man, while here this is a female, lady, and whatever problems he is suffering from, I mean, Prufrock is suffering from similar circumstances are there with him. But with this thing that Prufrock fails to propose or to woo his beloved that he wanted to. Here, the lady makes a proposal of friendship or love to a handsome young man, but the man shows no enthusiasm for this type of love. And although the woman tries a lot to explain to him the meaning of life and appeal, and later on the man regrets that why he did not do off the goals uh, put forward by this beautiful lady. Then the third poem of the second period is the preludes, and the preludes is not just a single poem. There are four poems. They haven't been titled individually, but they are the prelude one, the prelude two, and the prelude three, and the prelude four. In the first prelude, first, it's a daytime, and there is feasting, drinking, eating, and kind of enjoyment. And the day is spent like that. Evening comes and it's night, and the person sleeps. Uh, in the prelude two, it is morning time, and the scenery is described, the sunrise and the clouds and birds singing. Things are described, and it seems as if life is wonderfully beautiful and attractive and worth living. But the third uh, prelude, the third records the laziness and lethargy of a man getting up from bed and thinking of how to go out and what are the responsibilities that need to be fulfilled. And the prelude four is just meditation. Uh, in the uh, love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, there is a mention of Hamlet, and Hamlet is a symbol of procrastination. So here, this meditation part is referring to that thing that most of the time people are procrastinating while performing their actions, and they are unable to perform actions. They just spend time in thinking and thinking. There is so much material in other literatures as well, but I can't do those things here. Then another poem in the second period is Rhapsody on a Windy Night. First of all, Rhapsody, you need to understand this thing that it was in Greek, ancient Greece, and in Latin, in Roman, that songs which seemed disconnected from one another, and they were stitched together. So, taken from that ancient uh, Greek and Roman tradition, he has juxtaposed or brought together things which are not logically connected or at least apparently not connected. And it has been written three times. Once it was written in 1911, the second time it was written in 1916, and then third time it was written in 1917. But for the first time, when he was studying in France, uh, he wrote this poem. And critics opine that it is Eliot's the most difficult poem. And the difficulty comes from a very specific thing, that is, in this poem, he is talking of time, memory, and mind, and they all merge into that Heidegger and Husserl and Bergson's concept of consciousness or phenomenology. That's how a person gets conscious of something. Here, with respect to this, although there are other things as well, but with respect to this, I remember Poet's poem, and I would love to share it with you people. That is, Zaman ki vartawai pa asal ki o an de. An here means a moment, lamha. Makan ki vartawai zahur de jahan de. And whatever physical thing is there, that is the manifestation of something. इदराक के दा द वक्त तेरे दो जमन सरदे एहसास पर लपके दखल वजूद व दखल जांदे. I'm interested in this line. That is, what is consciousness? That when we realize that time is passing by us, and this realization, in this realization, we realize that we exist, our being is there. If this time element or this space element is not there, or even if this consciousness about time and space is not there, we won't be able to uh, consider ourselves to be living being or to be present is that person who I think, therefore I am, and that is consciousness, that we become conscious of something. So this is difficult for these reasons, that uh, from philosophical point of view, it is another enigma whether consciousness and mind can be separated from one another. Can we say that mind is something else and consciousness is something else? And there has been a lot of discussion in this regard, that how is it that consciousness can be independent of mind and mind can be considered as object other than consciousness. Then we move to the fifth form of the uh, second period, that is the Boston Evening Transcript. This poem is written about a newspaper, and the Boston Evening Transcript was the name of the newspaper. And he is making fun of, or a kind of satire on this, that how people's opinion or mouthed or manipulated people's thoughts and people's actions are manipulated with the help of this newspaper, the opinions that are developed. What we call it brainwashing, and so many other terms are used today, or a pressure group, or in media studies we have pressure group, that is, media is a kind of pressure group in regular that thing. So people are referred to is rice corn. Rice corn becomes, when the field of corn, uh, it is rice, it becomes light. It loses much of it, and little wind can move it. So similarly, people in London by that time, they are like ripe corn, and the opinions coming in this newspaper, even if they are little wind, but still people are spread by that, and they are that way manipulated. Another poem of this second period is Mr. of Lennox. Apollo is God, and next he has added it as a prophet. So one who is at the same time God and prophet. So a professor who visited United States, and probably it is based on a real event, and he records what happened to him in his visit of the United States. And it was published in 1917 in the volume Two Folk Songs and Other Observations. Then we move towards the third period of this man's poetic career. And here, this period starts from 1980 and it lasts until 1925. One poem which is written during this period is Gerontion in 1919. It is Gerontion is an old man, and because World War One ended by that time, and it had changed the opinions of people with respect to many things, with respect to religion, with respect to technology, with respect to humanity, with respect to power, with respect to war, and so many things. So this Gerontion is an old man, and because he has witnessed too many things, so he is describing his experiential perspective on life in 1919, specifically keeping an eye on war and on religion and politics. Sweeney Eric, this is a character he introduced for the first time, but it recurred many times in later forms of T.S. Eliot. So a young girl, and she is she is living a life of desolation and emotional disconnection that he doesn't feel to be there, and specifically because she is in a brutal, and there she is helping a woman who is in need of help, and she is taken to hospital. But the thing is that she is emotionally disconnected from the woman and the rest of the people. Most probably because she sees herself an object of pleasure and nothing more than that. For this reason, that it would be like that. So it was in 1990. A cooking is again studied, sorry, published or written in 1919. It's remarkable. Many times I see, I remember Ghani Khan who is taking the petty things um, for titles, titles of his poems, and similar is the case with, in some cases, you find that T.S. Eliot is also taking petty and unimportant and trivial kind of titles to his poem. But the meaning or the personal symbolization that he applies to it, they are remarkable. A cooking egg is, in this case, is an egg which is a bit older and which and it is a bit older, and because of that it cannot be cooked alone to be eaten. It can be mixed with something else. So the speaker in the poem is actually thinking of his personal life, that now he fears that he has become old now, and he has become dependent. His independence is lost. The wasteland, which we'll be studying, it is on our content. So I'll not talk about it in detail, but there are five parts of it, and most probably there's a reflection on his personal and marital life, along with politics and so many other things. Then Holoman is also that, and it's simply uh, some kind of repetition of the stuff in the love song of Jihad. In the fourth period, which is mostly Christian poetry, and here we come to the most important poem, that is Ash Wednesday, was published in 19, written in 1927. Sorry, I've written 1925, but it is actually 1927. Um, First, you need to understand that what is Ash Wednesday. In Christianity, we have Sabbath Day, we have Easter, we have Christmas. So similarly, we have Ash Wednesday, and it is a day that is it is followed by a Tuesday. That Tuesday also has got a specific name, and it is a festival of feasting and praying. That Wednesday, specific Wednesday, most probably after Easter, is like that. There is the festival of feasting and prayer. This discusses the dilemma of one's association with God in the absence of spiritual connection with God in one's past. And the thing is that if a person has lived such a life, and this can be considered autobiographical in this sense that before 1925, uh, T.S. Eliot was not much interested in religion. I cannot say that he was altogether not interested in religion, but not much interested in religion. And by 1925, he was very much interested in religion, and that's why his poetry of this period is also entirely Christian in nature. Salvation is the key focus of most of this period, and how one can get rid of the miseries of being punished in the life hereafter. Then Journey of Magi, which is written in 1927, another good poem, and it is a dramatic monologue, of dramatic monologue, My Last Section Time, uh, Robert Browning and Raleigh Philippi and Verdun Sarto, those poems I should refer to it, if you remember. And this is symbolic of the miseries of a female life because Mejai is a girl, she is a character in some religious myth, and also she suffers because of uh, wars and because of being in exile and so many other things. So, and the other poems, Inimela, Marina, Choruses on the Rock, and Coriolan, these are other poems of um, this whole period. But I didn't get enough time to get all those. And the fifth and final period, the most important uh, poem, one long poem, four quartets, and it has got four parts. And the first part is Burnt Norton, written in 1936, and it talks about this idea that past and present are present and future. Means that what makes your future is your past and present. Means there is a continuum, and it is your past which is leading to your present situation, and it is your present situation which is leading to your future. Although now we may not believe in this thing, and we may counter argue this thing that one's past is not supposed to be so influential that it determines one's future. Many times, the past life of people has not been up to the mark, but and even their present, they are not up to the mark, but their future turns out to be grand. And nature, time, and salvation is, I talked of this thing that after becoming Anglican Christian, he was very much concerned with the life after death and to secure that the healing and cross after the physical life. Then the second poem of the quartet was East Cooker, which was written in 1940, and it discusses something really strong, that is alienation from nature, and why it is caused. It is because human beings are thoroughly following science completely obedient to scientific thoughts, and they have given up divinity completely, and it has resulted in a kind of disorderly society in personal and individual lives as well. And he suggests that the solution to coming out of chaos and disorder is to turn them towards divine. The third of the quartet, that is the dry salvages, which is published or written in 1941. Similar strain is there as well. That is nature, time, and man's place in time is discussed here. Life is rendered, metaphorically rendered, as traveling in a boat. And in that boat, what is happening that relying too much on machines, relying too much on what we call resources rather than divine forces, uh, people are lost in the way and they cannot reach their destination in terms of Christianity, that is salvation. One can get salvation only if one has some sort of detachment from the physical or material life. And the fourth one, the last one, is Little Gidding, written in 1942, and it also discusses things like that. It also discusses uh, uh, time, specifically, he, he thinks here of the unity of past, present, and future, and claims that understanding this unity is necessary for salvation, which means that once again he is reclined towards this Christian theme of salvation, of